We have things that enter our lives, and we have to figure out how to handle them, whether they are life-threatening or whether they're not. We have to come up with a plan that you have to take care of yourself. I want to make sure that you go home with something warm in your heart and understanding of yourself, but more so of what you do with the people around you when they have a hardship as well. So I wanted to start by saying that my tag name of who I am and what I'm doing right now, because a lot of people ask me, what is my business and what do I do? And it's embracing life's challenges, the expected and the unexpected. And we're going to talk a lot about that tonight, because things that we even think we expect, and it's going to come our way, like losing our parents because they're now in their 90s. What happens when it happens is not what you expected. And for those of you in the room that have lost anybody, you know it's not what you expected. But we're not just going to talk about death and grief as in death. We're going to talk about loss. So we're going to talk about all those things that happen in our lives that are transitions, as the title of this evening is, but also of how to handle those challenges and what to do with them, because we all have them. And for all of you that looked at my book when they came in, oh, that's sad, or I don't have that in my life, by the end of this conversation, you're going to say, oh yeah, I do have that in my life, because we all do. But what happens when that perfect vision that you have falls out? You're numb. You have no clue what's happening in your life. You're in survival mode, and whatever that survival mode is. Each one of you here has a story, and each one of your stories is probably more of a hardship than my story or the person next to you. It's what we do with the stories, and it's what the tools that we have to deal with those stories. There are women in this room that we're going to help you have those, the story be the love, the story being the great memories, the story not being the hardship. I want to make sure that you go home with something warm in your heart and understanding of yourself, but more so of what you do with the people around you when they have a hardship as well. So if I were to define for you what a transition is, right? Just define it in my words. It's anything that creates a change, both emotionally, either emotionally or physically or both. So some of our transitions in lives are huge. We have somebody in our life that has just been diagnosed with an illness, and we are their caregivers, which we're going to talk about caregivers because that's a whole piece in itself, okay? Then we could also talk about, unfortunately, death. Something happens sudden, even if it was something that was expected, illness, all of those, deployment's big right now in my heart, because unlike we know when you get a diagnosis of something, you know whether it's curable or not, but when somebody goes off and is in a deployment situation, you don't know if they're coming home. So you're up every single night wondering what's going to happen. Should I go to sleep? Can something happen? So any of those transitions, I'm calling those, and what I'm just sharing right now with you is one might perceive those to be the hardcore transition. But we are very smart women. You know why I know? It says on the board that we're smart women. Right there. See, it says, welcome smart women. We know how to put a project plan together. We know what we have to do. We shut off our life. If you're going to be a caregiver of somebody, you shut out the life around you. You write the project plan. You put together the people that are going to help you care for this person. You're going to figure it out. You're going to learn about the illness. You're going to learn about yourself. You're going to learn about your capabilities. You're going to find support groups. You're going to do all that, right? When somebody dies, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do a funeral. You're going to have a burial. You're going to take care of it. You're going to do something with it. So although those are transitions and they change your life, the ones that are the hardest, but are also perceived to be just road bumps, are the ones that you don't have control over, are the ones that are taxing on and you as women or as moms that can't figure out how to handle them. Is you've got that horrendous teenage child that you don't know what to do with right now. Okay, we talked about the hardcore ones that you know you could put a project plan together. You know that you're going to get home at 5 o'clock and you've got to release the nurse that's there. But you've got this hardcore teenager that you're questioning, and that you're questioning yourself, and you're questioning your parenting, and you're not trusting this, and you're not trusting that. Those transitions are really hard because we don't have the answers and we go into more self-doubt. These over here, we capture, we take care of. These over there, we can't. My point of what I'm saying is that we have things that enter our lives, whether emotionally or physically, and we have to figure out how to handle them, whether they are life-threatening or whether they're not. We have to come up with a plan that you have to take care of yourself. So what I'm suggesting to you and what I'm asking you to do is look into yourself first and take care of yourself. So as we move on, now that we just identified what some of our life transitions are, we need to move on to, okay, what do we do with them and how do we handle them? And yes, we have our finances in place, and yes, we have our legal in place, and yes, we've done all that, but we didn't get to the most hardest part of the whole transition, and that's your emotional and physical you. Because all those other things will start falling into place because you've hired these most wonderful women to help you out. So now what do I do about, because you're the one that has to wake up every morning. You're the one that has to deal with this situation. While you can ask people for help, it's really you that has to resolve it. Whether it is a death or whether it is a divorce or any of the other, or an illness, it's you that has to, I don't like the word, I'm hesitating, accept it, embrace it. It's you that has to take that. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to work through those and just understand them a little bit. Well, the thing that I want to talk about, because my word of 2014, and I'm 1/4 fully into the same word, is tolerance. And tolerance comes with understanding, and tolerance comes with not thinking that people around you do and say things because they're malicious, because they're really not. They just say the darndest, I'll use that word, the darndest things. So what happens is, unfortunately, what happens is it all comes apart because you are walking on eggshells, making sure that this person's okay and this person's okay, and you're not expressing yourself. So you're getting so angry with yourself because you're feeling stifled and you're not doing what you want to do, and it just becomes this vicious circle, and it doesn't have to be. The point is that everybody is not malicious and they're not vicious. There are people, yes, there's road rage and there's people that will cut you off, but the majority of people aren't cutting you off. The majority of the people are not mean. The majority of the people are there to help you. So what I'm trying to say is to take this transition that you have and understand that you're going through something that I said earlier, is that we got this notion that life wasn't messy and that life was going to be easy. We got that notion somewhere, but it's not. And it's our responsibility to try not to fall apart when these happen. Embrace them and love them and feel them and just enjoy every drop that you have through it. But make sure that you take care of yourself and understand what's going on. One of the things that I've learned along the way is the difference of what happens between children and adults when these types of events in our lives happen, and what we do to our children because of the state that we're in, and what our children do to us because we're not playing on the top of our game at the moment. And I've spent time facilitating widow support groups on a Wednesday night, and the next Wednesday night supporting the loss of a parent, meaning more so adult children losing their parents, so us losing our parent. And it's fascinating to see what happens in these. So the widows say that they cannot, and this goes for divorce too, I'm not just saying widows, it's when there's a separation that happens. I would think in this case that it's actually harder to be divorced because there's no rules to follow. With your kids anyway. When there's a death, it's pretty much black and white. So I go to these parents, I'm with these adults rather, the surviving widower, and I listen to what they say to me, and they say how they don't want to bring this grief and death into their house. They don't want to bring it there because they don't want to talk about it. And I look at them and I say, why? And they say, because we're already having trouble with my son, and we're already having trouble, my daughter won't talk, she won't come out of her room, and I'm like, and I try to explain to them that talking about it will actually make it better, not worse. They don't go there. Then you go to the next Wednesday, I have the adult children, and what they say with the adult children is they say, I didn't want to talk about it because my mom is so upset. She can't even get off the phone without crying. Okay, so what if we embraced it all together? What if we figured it out? What if we figured it out as a family? Just think how much you would bond and grow through that. At the end of the day, we have mental illness, we have grief and loss, we have bumps in the road. All of those change our daily transitions, as the word we're using. They change the way we emotionally and physically look at different things. It just is life. It is life, and it's up to us to embrace it. What I find in my work is that the most rewarding piece of my work is that people trust me with their journey. They trust me with their heart, with their soul, and their journey. And it's a wonderful place to be. It really is. Okay, I just want to summarize this in a couple ways. First of all, we are smart women. It says it, right? We are smart women. We need to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and understand that we are strong. We can set a path, but things happen that are random. Things happen, whatever you believe religiously, maybe for a reason, but things happen in your life that throw a curveball, and you need to figure out how to handle them. You need to surround yourself with people that care for you. You need to surround yourself with people that will help you and not push you more than you need to be pushed, but enough to nudge you when you need them. You need to surround yourself with professional people that will give you the right advice and not take advantage of you. Because only you can get through this journey. And as I said earlier, that take care of yourself first, because it's the most important thing to do. Take care of yourself first, because the rest will be easier to do, not so easy to do. Logic is all lost when we're in an emotional state. First thing you need to do is try to get some of that logic, and that's why you have to depend on those special people and those special professionals. Let them do the logic for you. You just work through the journey that you're embracing right now. I return every phone call and email that comes to me. I promise. It's a subject that we don't always like to talk about in front of people, so feel free to call me and feel free to email me or whatever. I live right here in the hood, so I would meet you for anything. And I do have books if you want them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.